Hey guys, welcome to another video on Budget with a July Dreamer. My name is Miranda, and on this channel I share everything personal finance. I cover budgeting, saving and investing. If these topics are of interest to you, then please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into today's video. So we're at the end of July. Well, today is July 31st, and I thought I share with you how much I spend in a month video which will cover my July budget and just talk money in general. I do have my trusted iPad here with me, and I have the budget tracker that I will be doing a screen record of and walking you guys through where my money went in the month of July. Let me put my glasses on because without them I am struggling to see anything on screens. And let me just remove the cover of my iPad because it's really stressing me, because it's got a keyboard on the other side, so it's stressing the life out of me. Anyway, let us get comfortable and start talking about money. But first, I really do need some water. I'm drinking coffee. It's currently 27 degrees in the UK, which I'm not complaining because we don't get that many hot days in the UK, but when we do, they're suffocating. Let's just put it that way. I was born in a hot country, and the UK is nowhere near as hot, but it's very different. There's no breeze, like a cool breeze under the heat. It's just in your face, like in the oven kind of heat. So, and our homes don't have aircon, at least they're not designed with air cons in them. So yeah, I need to go get my fan and just cool down. But in any case, I'm gonna have some water first, and then we will proceed with how much I have spent in the month of July. Okay, so we're going to be using my iPad today because I honestly don't want to touch my laptop, because when I put it on my lap it just gets so hot. It's getting old. It's 4 years old now, and in Apple world that's ancient, and it's starting to slow down, which is quite annoying, but I still love it. But I have the iPad as my main account that I use, device that I use. Anyway, I'm gonna start the screen record on the iPad and we can get on with my budget. So I am currently using the Ultimate Wealth Dashboard 2.0 planner from Press Reset. I got this sometime last year and I've been loving it throughout 2024, and I'm wondering if I continue to use it in 2025 or get the 3.0, because I know she has newer versions now. So I wonder if I want to use that, but we shall see, because I still haven't made up my mind. I love the tracker. The annual totals section is always my favorite. Anyway, for the month of July, the monthly reminder that we had was we can become what we want by we cannot we cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. So true, so true. So in terms of my budget for July, the cash flow summary here that you can see, income that I predicted I was going to bring in from my 9 to 5, from my blog, from my Etsy, other earnings, and a bonus. Obviously no bonus this month, was 6,350, which is about the right amount that I normally make every single month, and I actually ended up bringing in over £7,000. In terms of my bills, so my main bills, my mortgage and what have you, we'll talk about this in a moment. I budgeted over 2,500 and I spent just a smidge under 2,500. Expenses, I said 1,700 and I spent over £2,000, and we'll talk about that. Savings, I said 335. I actually ended up taking money from my savings, and I talked about this in Am I Living to Paycheck video. I have been touching my emergency fund, and I have touched it again for August, which I hate it for me, but I'm glad I have it. And then investments, I budgeted 800 and it's actually 400. Funny thing, I did send 800, but I also took some money from one of my investments, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Debt, I budgeted 1,000 and I was able to send 962 pounds. So that's what we are. As you can see here, we do have money left over. This is the money that is going over into the month of August for my August bills. So that's just under 1,900. So covered up the income summary purely because although I let you know my sources, I'm not really sharing how much I am making from each of these sources. So this I kind of keep as private. So I was expecting 4,350 and I actually brought in 5,177 and 69 pence. So that is a difference of over 800 pounds, which is absolutely great. And you will notice there's a difference between here, the income summary, and my actual income. This is because there's money left over from last month, so it adds this cash flow tab, adds everything together. So if we now go over to my bills, if I just move this over to bill summary. So my mortgage, this is the second month I'm paying 1,500. I've cried wolf about this already because my mortgage has jumped from being just under 900 pounds to being just under 1,500. So here we are. So 1,500 for my mortgage, 400 pounds for my advanced mortgage. And if you don't know why I have an advanced mortgage, it's because I took out about 60k from this home to buy my third rental property, so I'm paying 2 mortgages for this house essentially. And then my council tax is 160. I pay council tax, we pay council tax 10 months out of the year, so we almost get like 2 months free, but it's really not free. It's just divided into 10, and that's how much mine comes to. So mine comes to 158, but I always budget just a little bit more because I love having that kind of a buffer in my bank accounts. Combined utilities is 130. Income protection, I spoke about this when I was creating the July budget, that even though it's under 85 pounds, I still budgeted 90 pounds because I wanted to remind myself for August that I needed this to be 90 pounds because this has gone up. It's now 88 pounds. So I wanted to make sure that I remember that this is why I budgeted this way. Life insurance, I always budget 80, it's just under 80 pounds. Internet and phone for the month of July was just under 50 pounds. For the month of August, I know already the amount, and it's gonna be just under 57 pounds. And then travel insurance 25, again it's 22, but I budgeted a bit over. Gym, I budgeted a little bit over. And then my mobile, I budgeted a little bit over purely because the June amount was not taken out until July, and I knew that it hadn't been taken out, so I made sure to just double this here. So this is what happened with my bills. If I now go to my expense summary, this is where we're obviously going to spend a little bit more time just discussing where my money went. I need a sip of my coffee here, 1 second. Okay, so when it comes to my expenses, so this is my variable expenses. For my groceries, I budgeted 200 and I spent just a little bit over, and I've only gone over today, the 31st of July, because I've just gone and done my last shop. I needed some bacon and I needed some yogurt as well, so I bought a couple of items from Aldi, so that literally just tipped me over by 2 pounds, which is okay. My wellness is 125, so I have a wellness coach. She designs my workout program and also monitors what I am eating and all of that good jazz, and we use this lovely app where we track everything. I never thought I would be that person that had a virtual workout assistant, is it how it's called, or support, or personal trainer, virtual personal trainer. I never thought I would be that person because I needed that person for me. I needed the personal trainer to be in person, but then the C word happened in 2020, so life just started evolving, and I love that I have her. We're meeting for the first time this coming weekend, so I'm very excited for me. But yeah, I pay 125 pounds for her services, and it's definitely worth it, absolutely worth it. Restaurant, I budgeted 100. Surprisingly, I only spent under 50 pounds, which is incredible for me. Even though I was a social butterfly in July and it was my birthday month, I'm just surprised that I spent under just a little bit over 45 pounds. Coffee and social, I always budget 100 and I spent just under 90 pounds. Fuel, I budgeted 100 and I spent under 100 pounds. I top tapped my car a couple of days ago because I'll be traveling a lot in August and my budget is very tight for August, so I was like, let's just top up again in July so that I can carry that through into August. Tithe and giving, I budgeted 100 and I was able to tithe and give over 300 pounds, which is absolutely great. Miscellaneous, I budgeted 25 and I actually ended up spending 285 pounds, and this is because of these beautiful glasses that you see here. So these are my new glasses, my prescribed glasses that I am wearing. Oh, you guys, so this cost me 256 pounds for these glasses, and so the frame was about 99 pounds and then the lens was the rest, which it's okay. Just glad I had the money to be able to afford new glasses, because I do have another set, but this is just for blue light. So these glasses are just for blue light, but I still use these anyway, especially when I'm watching TV. Self-care, I budgeted 300 pounds. I normally budget 150 pounds for self-care, but I budgeted 300 pounds for July because it was my birthday month and I wanted to treat myself, which I have done, and I'm very happy about that. So I went to London with my friends and we had a lovely time. I bought myself stuff that I wanted to buy and got to do my nails and all that good jazz. My nails normally cost me like 20 quid. That's how much these cost me. So I was just happy that I was able to allocate this amount and I spent just under 300 pounds, which is absolutely great. Then shopping, I budgeted 100 pounds and I spent almost 10 pounds over. Subscription, I budgeted 200 and I spent under 135. So I think moving forward I'm just gonna put this as 150 because I don't think my subscriptions change that much. In the months when they do like February, March and April, it's because the subscriptions that I have I pay for the majority of them annually. So like my Amazon Prime, my Disney Plus are annual. So for those months I know to budget like 500-600 pounds for subscriptions, but for every regular month I don't need that much. So I'm going to change this, but I also need to remember that I've got some apps due in October, so I need to make note of that. Well, I already made note of it and I just need to make sure I remember for my budget. Travel, I did 0 because I did say that my trip to Cape Verde was going at the end of June, was going to be the last trip that I was having for a while. I'm taking a break from traveling because of my finances are not there, but also the last 3 months of the year are going to be some of the most expensive months for me. So I would like to restock and save up a little bit more before I go on vacation. Again, this is not to say that I might not have a weekend away within the UK somewhere, or if we find a good deal and I can go with someone, that's great, because as much as I love solo traveling, that can be costly. Yeah, that can be costly. So 0 for travel and I didn't spend anything. Housing, I budgeted 100 and I literally just did a big shop. Right now it cost me about 80, almost 90 pounds. So this is why I'm a little bit over, just over by 8 pounds, 9 pounds. Business, I always budget 200, but this is one that I also want to adjust because I'm not spending the entire 200, which is a good thing, but for my budget, just to make it a little bit more realistic. But also sometimes they are expenses for my business that come up that I need to take care of, so this is why I always budget it as 200. But for August I'm gonna try and reduce it just to see how things work out. But yeah, so I've spent 151 pounds and 29 pence for my business, and then I just put it as car, which is quite funny, but this is everything from parking. Even when I take a train, I could call this transportation, but I like it this way. It makes sense in my head. So I budgeted 50, but I went over by 4 pounds because I had to, oh, I didn't need to. I ended up parking where I shouldn't have and I had to pay for it, so that was annoying. But obviously my fault, so yeah, I went over what I had budgeted, but again, all good. So budgeted 1,700, spent over 300 pounds what I had budgeted, which is no good, especially in the season that I'm currently in. I really need to watch my pennies. So yeah, we need to work on that. Then saving and sinking funds. So for vacation, I budgeted 170. I was only able to send 136, and if you saw my last transfer Tuesday for July, you would know that I literally, the first week in July and the final week in July, I had zero extra money to send towards my financial goals, so I wasn't able to do that. For my emergency fund, I budgeted 130. I actually ended up taking over £1,000 out, and it's okay. It's okay. I took money out. I'm gonna take out money again, and then hopefully I start rebuilding, because I don't want to keep dipping into yeah. And then sinking funds 35, but I was able to send 50 because I'm starting to rebuild my sinking funds up again. We're not gonna bother with the totals for this because it's quite depressing for me. So yeah, anyway, the next part that we need to look at is my investments, and I said we'll talk about the investments. So I have the two ISA and SIP that I hold with Vanguard. I sent 300 and 200 respectively. I don't know the word anymore, but I sent. Then Equate, budget 125, I sent 125. Plum, I just guesstimated that I'll probably send 100, and this is where I actually ended up selling some of my shares with Plum. That's a general investment account. I know the allowance has gone down starting this financial year April, so I'm trying to make sure that if I sell anything in my general investment account, it's under the allowance limit. So the allowance limit is now £500, so what I took out is definitely under £500, which is fine. But yeah, and then free trade, I budgeted 25, I sent 25, and my lifestyle I budgeted 50 and I sent 50, which is great as well. And then for my debt, the biggest focus that I have right now is my personal loan. It's under £700, but I always love to round up to 700, and I was able to send 701 and 15 pence. And this is purely because I did send my 700, then I was looking at the numbers, and I'm going to be filming another video later today, but I looked at the numbers and it made sense for me to just make that £1 15 extra payment, because I love whole numbers, even numbers. I love that for me, so I made that payment. But yeah, and then for the credit cards, I budgeted 100 each, but I wasn't able to really send anything much to them. For American Express, I did send something, but it felt like I sent nothing. Barclay card, I spent on it, I barely added anything to it, and all of that good jazz. So it's been interesting, just to say the least. But yeah, so that is where my money went in the month of July. I'm quite surprised. Like, if I look at this summary flow chart, it's telling me that in terms of my bills, I sent 42% of my income towards my bills. This is not surprising, especially since my mortgage is now 1,500. I've said this in a number of videos. January through to end of May, 1,500 was how much all of my bills used to be. But now that my mortgage has gone up by £600, that amount is just for my mortgage. So I'm not surprised that this too has gone up. I was looking at this a lot and trying to reflect and see, am I still following the model of 50 30 20, which is 50% living on, 30% fun, and then 20% sending it towards my savings. And looking at this, I am, in a way, when it comes to my my bills, I'm definitely under 50%, which is great. I always loved being between 35 and 40%. That worked for me, but we're 42% now, which is not bad, but it's not ideal either. My expenses are 34%, which is too high in my opinion, but life. And then investments, I really would like this to increase a little bit more. And then debt, 16%. I'm happy about this because it's also an investment in my future, in that I'm paying it down. to reduce my future debt, which is great. But for the investments, I would really like this to be at least 20% of what I'm bringing in every single month. But here we are. There isn't really much I can say about this. And then all of these numbers that you're seeing in this tracker, I populate every single day on the right hand side here. So I kind of put everything, what the date when the expense happened, the category, subcategory, amount, payment method, and then description of what that was. So I've said this many times, my bills come up on the first of the month. Like the majority of my bills all come up on the first of the month. So, and a couple of expenses like my subscription, this is my Netflix, I've put it on my credit card, so that comes out also the first of the month and all of that. And then I mentioned about taking out money from my emergency fund, so I took out 1,000 from my emergency fund and all of that good jazz. But yeah, so I populate here, all of that I populate, and I like highlighting whenever I have income. It just stands out for me. But yeah, so I populated all of this, and then it's what you now see in the tracker here. So it kind of gets to see everything here, which is absolutely great. I love it for me. But yeah, so total income was over 7,050, total bills just under 2,500, total expenses over 2,000 pounds, savings minus 750 plus, total invested just under 500 pounds, total debt just under 1,000 pounds. So there is that. But yeah, so this is my budget. This is how I spent my money. And then if I just quickly look at my reminders that I had, I did celebrate my 37th birthday with family and friends. I did attend my Pilates with my friend. I attended my friend's nephew's first birthday. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to spend time with my gym girls. Did go and voted, loved it for me. I did book and attend my appointments. I'm at an age now where all doctors, opticians, all types of health appointments I need to attend and cannot afford to miss. I had a look at all my rental property insurance because I realized that I had buildings and contents insurance when all of my properties I rent them out unfurnished, and then the tenants bring in their own stuff, so I didn't need contents insurance. That's covered by their renters insurance. And then I met with my tax advisor, and today is the last day of July. I really need to send him those documents so he can start working on my taxes next month. But yeah, so this is how my month of July went, and this is where my money went. Reflecting back onto the video that I made a couple of days ago where I said I was embarrassed that I'm living paycheck to paycheck, I still feel that way. If I'm honest, I'm still feeling that way, but I'm going to be making changes and I'll stop feeling sorry for myself.